Hello all, and welcome to a post-work beer review. The December reviews roll on, despite the fact I'm going to have to take a slight break um, when I have to do some work training that's across the island. So it will be impossible for me to do reviews due to the commute, as well as the fact that it's going to be changing my sleep schedule a bit. So yeah, slightly less reviews than I was expecting to do this December, but still good to go. You know what I mean? Anyways, what are we reviewing today? We are reviewing Paulaner Munchner Lager. This is a Hell's Lager from Paulaner Braurei in Germany, one of the oldest breweries over there. This is 4.9 ABV. And yeah, it's a Hell's Lager. I prefer Pilsners to Hell's Lagers. I just like the dryness and crispness and all that of a Pilsner more than the slightly softer, maltier uh, feel of a Hell's. But I mean, I'm not going to reject the style. It's not a style that I hate. It's just, I usually end up going with a Pilsner instead of a Hell's. Anyways, let's go and pour this out. Let's get to this because I have some nice warm breadfruit and butter that's waiting for me, and I think that's going to go really well with this beer. So yeah, I'm not going to be chugging this one because I want to go and pair that with that food. And I'm going to dub this particular review the I nearly got scammed review. I got a scam call at work, and they nearly got me. I was on the line with them for like 10 to 15 minutes, and it's so funny. I'm kind of an easy mark. Uh, you know, I tend to be very overly trusting of what people tell me, which is really odd considering what I do for a living, but that's neither here nor there, and I don't want to reveal what I do for a living, but let's just say being skeptical is part of it. It's just when it comes to like my own life, I have difficulty with that. But without much further ado, let's just go and pour this one out. Oopsie. I think I'm pouring a little bit too vigorously. Yeah. So a nice, well-carbonated, golden color. Pretty much the definition of golden yellow. With a frothy white head. Got some floral malts there. And floral hops there. And sweet bready malts. Overall, not super complex, but very much to style. In fact, I would say this is the definition of what a hell should smell like. Onto the palate now, shall we? Some bitterness up front. Slight hop spice. Followed by bready malts from the front pretty much all the way into the finish. Then it just kind of finishes clean with a clean on the palate anyway, while still having a top note of breadiness and floral aspects. Nice carbonation bite up front, but not overwhelming. Pretty smooth. Overall, pleasant. and satisfying, but to me, somewhat boring. You know, so there's nothing objectionable about it. And I'm going to just go back because whatever. Nothing objectionable about it, but also nothing that really stands out as well. Being that being that I prefer a little bit more complexity, chew to my. I really just need to replace this camera at this point. More complexity, more chew to my malt body. I think that, yeah, if I want like a malt bum, I tend to go more towards Marzens. The darker malts tend to have add a bit more complexity rather than just straight breadiness. Um, like I said, nothing bad about this. It's just, well, here's some hops and here's a whole bunch of malts. And speaking of breadiness, let me go and show you some of that nice roasted breadfruit I got going on here. This is from my uncle's tree. So, yeah, he smoked it in his grill. That was about a couple weeks ago. I've had it in the refrigerator already cut up, and I've reheated it with some butter melted on top, and it's going to be quite nice, I think. Yeah. This one was picked a bit more on the starchy side. So breadfruit, as it goes along, it tends to have a bit more of, it tends to have a spectrum. There's kind of almost underripe where it's very stiff, very starchy, bland, almost um, as hard as an uncooked potato and as much flavor. Um, as it gets more and more ripe, it develops more and more sweetness to the point where you get to overripe where it's almost like pudding and is actually kind of hard to handle because it's just so soft. You don't really see breadfruit. Oh, let me go and get. Oh, shit! I got butter on my keyboard. You can kind of go and see here the fruity aspects. I just want to show it to people because I think a lot of people outside of Oceania and the Caribbean haven't really tried breadfruit. It was one of my favorites. Mentioned in the past a craft beer that was made with breadfruit. So now y'all know what breadfruit looks like. Anyways, back to this beer. Paulaner Munchner Lager. An excellent example of a Hell's Lager. That's why I'm having it with food. This is the ideal kind of beer that you have with food, one that you don't have to think too much about and won't really clash much with anything. And that's how I'm going to pretty much drink this. Yeah. And that, folks, is your beer review for this late evening. It's almost 10:30. Prost. And mai kai.